I got one question for you. How do people live with this wind?
You may remember that I was in Glacier National Park trying to find a place to hike, but when I couldn't, I decided to head towards my final destination, which was North Carolina.
So the road is also closed, like, part of the way in on the other side of the park. So I spent like 2 hours getting around to the other side of the park, but I took a little walk for like 0.5 miles, and I've decided it's time to go home. And by home, I actually mean North Carolina this time, because I've been going like whoop, and not back east in the direction I need to be driving in the next 3 days. So I'm just going to start driving east.
And I took driving east very seriously. As you will see in this next clip, I ended up driving all the way from Montana into Wyoming in that day.
So where am I and what am I doing? I am in Sheridan, I think it's pronounced that way, Wyoming. I drove into here last night at like 2 in the morning Mountain Time. I drove all the way from West Glacier to Sheridan yesterday, because I was like, I just got to get more east. Now, I thought about stopping by Yellowstone so I could hike there this morning, but I ended up just keeping driving on 90 after I got through Billings. God, this wind in the plains, my right eye always waters. I'm doing well, though, and today I'm going to see Mount Rushmore, maybe go into town, and I get to see South Dakota for the first time. This is also me seeing Wyoming for the first time. Yay! It's finally starting to feel like summer, or, well, like a springtime, like May, because now I can wear a t-shirt and not be freezing. I'm actually getting so excited now that I can like taste the South springtime almost here in the Midwest, about going back home. Oh, May in Raleigh. It's gonna be so beautiful. I'm so excited. I haven't been in Raleigh since January. I have not experienced this like nice warm weather. It was so hot during the day in Vegas. Sometimes it was like this in the evening, but it didn't smell like this, and it smelled like spring. It smelled like the desert. I'm so happy to be back in the trees and the grass and the greenery. All right, let's drive and make our way into South Dakota.
Nice sunny day. As you can tell, I was in good spirits. And this is what the landscape looked like. Still, it was pretty much just this. And again, so many swarms of bugs that I ended up having to get out like every few hours at least to clean all of the bugs off of my windshield. And the wind did not help me with that.
I've concluded it's too windy to carry on, but my windshield looks okay. One of my paper towels flew away, and I fell down running to try to go get it because I didn't want to litter. And so, ow, I hurt myself on the asphalt. Oh my gosh. I legit split my knuckle.
Okay, let's just fast forward through all of this. Yep, there's a lot of it. I will say it was nice driving in just a flat, straight line for like hours on end. Oh wait, slow down. That's kind of pretty there. And fast forward again. Remember, I am now on my way to Mount Rushmore.
I pulled over like an hour ago because I got really, really sleepy. And now I'm headed to Mount Rushmore.
What even is there to see in South Dakota? Well, mostly everything I saw or could have seen was in the southwestern part of the state near Rapid City. That includes Mount Rushmore, Custer State Park, Wind Cave National Park, Buffalo Gap National Grassland, and Badlands National Park. I unfortunately did not get to go to either of the national parks. Instead, I opted to go through this cool tunnel to get to Mount Rushmore. It was a cloudy day. I was feeling really tired that day, so I didn't get a lot of footage, but I always imagined that Mount Rushmore would be much smaller than I imagined in my brain. But it was really big, you guys, and I was really in awe.
So crazy, dude.
It was a quick stop for me because after you see it, but it's definitely worth seeing. I had really wanted to hike because, of course, as you know, I didn't get to hike in Glacier National Park or hike at all for the past few days. So I decided to go into Custer State Park. It was a long, winding drive, and the day started out sunny and then got cloudy and then got foggy. I had looked at my All Trails app earlier in the day to decide a hike that I wanted to go on, and all of the pictures for it were so sunny, and it was called the Cathedral Spires hike, and I was so excited. And then the fog just kept getting thicker and thicker, and I had to decide if I wanted to go through with this hike despite the weather. And I decided to, so here's what happened. Oh, also I had to go through this one-way tunnel, and it was so small, but you guys, my car fit perfectly, and this is why I have a tiny car and not a van. Very helpful in these small one-way tunnel situations, which occur extremely frequently to me when I'm on the road.
This looks like it's out of Mordor to me. Look at that fog. Oh my gosh. I am so glad I didn't go to Yellowstone and I did this instead. It was sunny earlier today, and now it's very foggy outside and the sun's about to go down in like 45 minutes. I have a 1.5 mile hike to do. I do have my headlamp with me, so I'm good. It's also extremely foggy. This is the Cathedral Spires hike in, I think it's in Custer. And oh my gosh, the fog makes it look so cool. What? Oh my god. Moving. Oh my gosh. This is insane. Okay, I'm headed up the trail. This is one of the coolest things I've ever done. This is so cool. I did not think I would like this. This is so out of my comfort zone, like a hike that's not like in the sun, because I don't even like foggy or rainy days to begin with, and it's kind of like eerie to me, but this is incredible.
This is the first time I used my GoPro to film a hike, and it turned out pretty well, I think.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god, this is so cool. Oh gosh. Okay, it's gonna get dark soon. I really don't want to be out here in the dark. Awesome. Wow.
Now look, those right there are the spires. That's what the Cathedral Spires Trail is named after. And it really does look like the spires going up of a cathedral. After I saw those, I was remarking how cool they were, and then I saw this, which is a person up ahead of me, and I was terrified. I about crapped my pants. I put my GoPro away. I waited for them to like leave further up the trail, but then the problem was that as I continued further along the trail, I had lost them and I didn't know where they went. And once it got super foggy at the top, I had no idea if I was gonna like physically bump into them, and I was just so scared the whole time.
All these Christmas trees.
As we keep going on, you can see here, I'm kind of getting towards the top of the trail. Oh my gosh, it was just a forest immersed in fog. So you get to the top of this mountain, right? And you can see that it's just fog. It is just fog everywhere. And there's this part where you can go through the spires. It was gnarly. Wow, this was just so haunting. It felt like the middle of the night. It was so silent. And then you could just hear the birds singing. And it was so eerie because of that. It's like the fog makes everything feel very dense and dead. But then you hear like the life of the birds, and it's like this juxtaposition. Anyways, I don't know how to describe it other than it was so creepy. Do you not see how scary this is? So I had to make my way back down as it was getting really dark, which frightened me to the utmost degree. A lot of the time I was so scared because of this wind. Listen to this wind and how much it's howling. Enough to scare the britches off of any old hiker. So my response was to run at a certain point, and I was running for my life through this extremely dense, foggy forest, out of fear of an imaginary person or the person I saw earlier jumping out at me and chasing me through the fog. And that's why most of my footage on the way back down is super shaky. But eventually I made it back down safely to the car and reminisced on this being one of my favorite hiking experiences I have ever had, despite my immense fear. Because this was so cool. It's not every day that you get a cathedral spires hike looking like Mordor that is covered in fog.
I was scared, so scared on the way coming back because it's getting dark and it was foggy and the wind was like howling. It was scary. I am so proud of myself for doing that hike though. That was definitely out of my comfort zone.
And then I got to drive on the still somewhat scary foggy streets all the way back through Custer State Park to get to Rapid City. The feeling that this creates is so rare. Driving alone on a windy, foggy road in the middle of nowhere. It was a feeling. It was pretty cool. And I believe I stayed at a rest stop that was in South Dakota about halfway through the state.
I got one question for you. How do people live with this wind? Do you see how windy this is? My voice is going because I've been like singing in the car the whole time. I did a mean concert of the Jonas Brothers and Taylor Swift last night. I've gotten through every single Taylor Swift album. I was driving till 4 a.m. last night. I did pass through another time zone, so I lost an hour, so it was like 3 a.m. for me. And you were not supposed to sleep at this rest stop, which is so stupid. But I was so freaking tired that I was like, I don't care. So I put up my like window coverings anyways, and no one bothered me. Because like, who enforces people not sleeping at rest stops? You're supposed to limit yourself to 3 hours. But there's like a million parking spaces, and it's in the middle of South Dakota. So anyways, it was fine, as I suspected. And I woke up to it like pounding rain on the window. It was so funny because I woke up and I was like, what is that sound? Like the wind was rocking my car, but I was like, it felt like so unfamiliar to me. And then I was like, oh my God, I think that's rain. Like, I think it's not just like a drizzle like it was one night in Nevada, but it was like pounding rain on the window. And I looked outside and I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen this. Like a completely covered sky with like pouring rain in like 5 months. So that's so weird. So weird. All right, I'm about to get on the road again, trying to make it through Omaha and then Kansas City, and then we're gonna keep going. We're gonna get there. All right, so let's step outside, throw my trash away, and see what this windy day is like.
Okay, like I said, how do people live with this wind? How do you live with it? How do you go to the grocery store? How do you get anything done? It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm just glad I don't live in the plains, because I ain't built for this. Back on the road again. Flat, 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 flat. And I'm going to speed up all of the footage I took from the flat states because it was a lot and I want to show some of it here. So we're fast forwarding again, fast forwarding until we get to the humidity, which I had some remarks about.
The weirdest part about this is like the changes in weather. Like my water, which I don't have right now, is like it's hot now because it's like humid and hot. When I was in Montana and Idaho and like up north, it was like cold all the time, which was nice because it was cold. Like the water was cold. So in like 2 days, I've changed seasons again. Also, I completely forgot what humidity feels like, and it sucks.
And then I made it back to my beloved southern states and North Carolina. And this was kind of near the Great Smoky Mountains. And this is footage from US 40 going through Raleigh. I was back home and I stayed in Raleigh for a little bit in the summer and I had a really good summer. That's all I have to say for now. So thank you for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.